We had a little difficulty with the internet. I think that we're back up now. Yep, I'm being told that we're good. What's happening is that when we're driving, we're linking up with like free Wi-Fi, and I got to get myself a hotspot because that's probably going to be easier to broadcast live. I get unlimited data, but sometimes it just kind of falters there for a few seconds. Folks, just want to remind you that we're going to be live every single day this week, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. We want to invite each and every one of you to take a opportunity to listen to our show. And don't forget that we have our live chat. A lot of people are not aware of that. You see, if you have the Spreaker app, okay, if you have the actual Spreaker app, the Spreaker app will allow you the opportunity to basically go and do a live chat. I'm actually being notified right now that our systems are behind by about 14 seconds. So I'll go on the air about 15 seconds after we do the live feed at 7:30. So again, if you have an opportunity, if you haven't had the opportunity yet, feel free to join our chat. Obviously, I cannot respond while I'm in the car, but when I do my shows from home, that's how you can get a hold of me. We're going to be doing our live feed as well through our Facebook account, so that's always going to be available. And with that being said, we're getting close to 7:30 mark. I just want to thank each and every one of you once again for always taking the time to listen to us in the morning. It looks like, the 7:30 a.m. mark is going to be the new way of our the way our show is going to go. And in the event if I ever go on vacation and have to do some pre-recorded episodes, what we'll do is air them at 6 a.m. But as of right now, 7:30 is going to be the final live shows based off of your feedback, and I'm happy about it. So again, let's just point out one thing before we get started. We are available on every single platform. That's right. Platforms are such as for podcasts. So if you have an iPhone, that's an iOS, you have an iPhone, you have the link already. It's under podcasts. If you don't want to use iTunes podcasts, you can download Spreaker. It's free. Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Castbox Player, Player FM. These are all different types of sources that you can utilize to pick us up. And just type in Have Faith, Let It Begin. You'll see our logo and subscribe. That's the most important thing. We need subscribers because that's how we're going to keep ourselves going. And with that being said, we're at the 14-second mark past that at 7:30. Let's get started with another rendition of Have Faith, Let It Begin. This one is called Feeling Burnt Out.
Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
When I was a child, my mom always told me, Angel, when you were born, all the angels came from heaven. Do you know why? Because you're special. On June 16, 2018, I launched my show, Have Faith, Let It Begin. I always wanted to change the world, share my personal testimony, share real-life stories and motivational topics to set out to go out and change the world. Join me each and every week, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m., because this is a show all about faith. My name is Angel, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hi, I am Mia. You're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel, and it is an honor and always a privilege to come into your homes each and every weekday at 7:30 a.m. Folks, let's get started with today's episode. Oh, I think I just lisped there for a second. Let's get started with today's episode. I'm kind of excited about it because it's a topic we've never touched base on. It's called Feeling Burnt Out or Burnt Out. Have you ever felt burnt out? Let me explain. Each and every day we do what we do best, which is go to work. Some of us that are stay-at-home mothers, some of them stay-at-home fathers, even those that are retired. We can do so many things. We overbook ourselves. We put on too many chores, too many things to do, that eventually we begin to have the signs of feeling burnt out. Frustration sets in. We feel as if we have done all that we could, and we just don't have the energy. we don't have the drive to do what we do best. You know, these past couple of months have been very difficult, to say the least, for myself. Of course, I don't want to take anything away from my wife. For those of you that are just joining us, and it's the first episode perhaps, I became a father for the first time in November. November 20th was the birth of my first child, and her name is Ariel. And, you know, any of you that are parents know that it's a lot of work, especially first-time parents. My wife has been tremendous. She has really picked up the ball and ran with it, but she's gotten burnt out. She works 2 jobs, and she never stopped, even when she was pregnant. I myself only have 1 job, but of course have the duties of this great podcast that I love, which is my hobby, and also fulfilling my duties as an elder for my church, and also marrying people, and fulfilling my duties as an officiant. Folks, one of the things that I think is important to remember is that when you are doing routine, let me rephrase all that. Hold on. I want to gather my thoughts the right way. And this is why we're live. I go off the cuff. Because I have so many things I want to say, and I want to get one thing at a time, which is henceforth why people get burnt out. Let me give you a scenario. Let's do a story. Personal testimony. Recently, I found myself, before my own maternity leave, getting burnt out at work. I found that my colleagues started to get to me, to be frank. Whether they were just nasty, rude, nosy, disrespectful, it got to me. And it never usually does. We talk a lot about this on our show. Don't allow people to steal your joy. It got to me. They finally got to me. And after almost 4 years of being there, I felt as if I couldn't breathe. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my job. And I respect my colleagues. And my bosses I've never had an issue with, ever. I can say that clearly. And no, I don't even know if they listen to the show, so I'm not trying to score points. But I do respect my bosses, and I've never had issues with them. But when we're in the workplace, and let me just speak frankly here, there are times when people that come to work come in with an attitude, with a negative notion, negative responses, negative, everything just negative all around. It gets to you. And there's only so much you can do as a positive person. We've done episodes like this before where we talked about being positive, but it's very difficult to work in an environment where certain individuals are constantly negative, constantly trying to find things to say that they're not happy with. They concentrate more on the negativity. That aside, dealing with customers or individuals who call up looking for instant gratification and eventually disrespecting you because you don't have the right answer, or maybe the answer right away. One of the things that I've always held on to, being in the telephone business for over 20 years, is that you can't always assume that you're going to have every answer. You can't always assume that when a person calls, they're always going to be in great spirits. But what you can do is stay focused, stay positive, stay true to yourself, and be professional. After a couple of weeks, it just took its toll on me. I had a customer call up and ask me a couple of questions, to which I replied, and it wasn't good enough. So they decided to curse me out. So my response was, "Sir, I did not disrespect you by raising my voice or using profanity. Can you please not do that to me?" And he still repeated profanity and asked to speak to my supervisor. At the time, my supervisor wasn't there, and me being a lead, I was able to tell them that I was currently in charge. The person eventually, explained to me that they had a lot of frustration. And what ended up happening was what they were looking for was not even in the right place. So, for example, the number that he dialed wasn't even the right number. It wasn't the right location. But he assumed that it was. That got me frustrated. More because it's not that I expected an apology, but I didn't receive one. And it felt like that for the longest time, where people were just calling up and being negative and being rude. And then after work, I would travel home, and I would go to a store, and as I'm in a store waiting to check out, there's people there arguing with each other. And it just felt as all this negativity was around me, and it burned me out. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're burnt out. Sometimes we don't realize that things have gotten to us. Sometimes in life, we will approach certain things thinking that we have a positive notion, but in reality, deep down inside, we're burning up inside because we've got so much anger, so much hate, so much fear, that when we finally let it out, we take it out on others. Do you feel burnt out? I did. And I was grateful that during that 1 week I was off, and I spent with my child, and I spent it with Ariel, all of that went away. And I got to thinking, one day I'm going to do an episode called Burnt Out, because I need people to see if they feel the same way. Share with me what you feel like. Share with me how you deal with being burnt out. And if you are burnt out, how do we overcome it? Well, I found a solution that worked for me. I always pray before I go to work. I always pray after work. But this time, right before I walk in to my office, I do the Lord's Prayer. And I feel a sense of peace. And that works for me. I'm not saying that you have to go and start doing the Lord's Prayer. And I'm not saying that if you haven't prayed, you have to pray or you're going to have a bad day. I'm saying that it worked for me. I'm putting my trust in God. I'm putting my faith in God so that I do not have any future burnouts. Now, we're human, right? We're always going to be burnt out to a certain extent. We're always going to have lack of sleep, especially being a new parent. We're always going to have somebody come behind us, just like right now. They're high beaming me. I'm doing 73 and they want to do 80. So, and that was nice. He gave me a very nice symbol with his hand gestures. So I'll just wave back. This is the part that I'm talking about. There's so much hate and negativity and so many people out there trying to get to where they need to be, and they want instant gratification. They're in a rush. My prayer today is this. I want everyone to feel as if they have a shot at peace. They have a shot at overcoming the negativity, overcoming situations that they cannot control. And the only way I think you can control it is by concentrating what's in your control and not concentrating on what's out of your control. Keeping your environment clean, keeping your environment safe, and keeping your environment positive. Don't allow anyone to steal that joy. Do not allow anyone to come into that office, to come into your life and spread that negativity, because that's something we as people, as society, do not need. And it's going to happen more and more, but it's up to us to stay the course, keep the faith, believe in yourself, and trust in God. I hope you have a good Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. You're going to hear episodes, me recording live as my daughter in the background, Ariel, will probably cry. You'll hear background noises like phone calls. And right on the cue, she's starting to cry. Don't worry, everybody. We're going to continue on like never before. And with Ariel in the background, knowing that in the future you're going to hear yourself crying like this, Mama, yeah, say hi to everybody out there. We just want to encourage every one of you to join us every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Join me, Ariel, my family, and everyone as we continue our journey. For Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel. Say goodbye, Ariel. Say bye. Bye.